Welcome back, everyone, in today's live session. And I'm really excited for today because I'm going to tap into a very, very important topic that's super close to my heart as well. It's all about emotions, harnessing emotional intelligence for leadership excellence. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about what are emotions, what is emotional intelligence. We'll explain you a bit about the four core components of emotional intelligence, and most importantly, how it really impacts and affects your leadership skills as such directly. So, no promises on the timeline today. I have a lot to share, and I will do my best to bring it to the point as quick or in as short of time as possible. Before I start, for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Sylvia Vitos. I'm leadership well-being coach and consultant, working primarily with corporate senior leaders and executives, helping them find that balance inside out so that they too can live a happier and healthier life. I approach well-being all through the leadership lens and in a variety of areas, talking about mindset, physical, emotional, and spiritual well being as well. So, if you are ready for the world of emotions, then let's dive in. Why not? So, what is emotional intelligence, first of all? And at the end of it, I come to the emotion definition as well. Emotional intelligence is really the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotion, and also to be able to relate to those of others. And a higher level of emotional intelligence is really significantly impact leadership skills and abilities, especially to handle stress and at taking decisions. Study shows, and you may have heard that emotional intelligence is a fairly new science. It really came out to the world in the 90s by Daniel Goleman, although, I mean, he was coining the terms. There were researches done before, but he is the one who really brought it out to public. So it's a fairly new science that we are talking about, thankfully getting more and more attention. And that's what data shows is that it's 4 times as important as IQ, and we'll come to the whys and hows as well in a little bit. So let me just share one quick slide here so that you can follow along a little bit easier, because this really just describes and helps us understand where these emotions come from. Excuse my voice. So, what is really happening? Everything that is in our surroundings, in the external environment, we perceive them as noise. So that's the very first step, that everything around us is just noise. And then, in response to this noise, we will generate the thoughts. And we have around 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. And here is the important part: whichever thoughts we choose to validate will create some kind of a sensation in our body. And that's how feelings and emotions really come to stand. So that also means that the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your emotions. And at the same time, what it also means, that's why I emphasize the word choice, is that you really have a choice there. And that's where you can claim back your power, you can take back the control and divert your emotions any point of time if you really want to. And of course, if you have the tools to do so. So, how the sequence or that cycle goes further from here is then that based on those emotions, those feelings that are triggered in you, be it excitement, be it curiosity, boredom, frustration, anger, a variety of emotions out there. But it will determine our approach, which will likely be either more of an arrogance or more of humility. What does that mean? Arrogance is really when it's my way or the highway. I am right and you are wrong. And my worldview is the right worldview. Maybe you can relate to that in your surroundings as well. And it's a very judgmental place also to be in. Humility, on the other side, looks very different. This is when I have this approach that I don't know what I don't know. And I'm always learning and taking that perfectly imperfect approach or perception of the world. So I'm kind of open of receiving other perspectives, other suggestions, or any other opinions around me. Now, whichever approach again we go with, it will have an impact on our behavior. And the behavior will really be when we adopt to the humility approach, then we will be able to respond rather than react. Whereas with the arrogance approach, will more likely be reactive in our behavior rather than responsive. And our actions, our habits and behaviors are always going to be either reacting or responding. So when we are reacting, we are not really aware of our feelings and we just don't really have that self-control. It oftentimes comes to the blame game and blaming others or the circumstances. And when we are responsive, then all that doesn't really exist. Then we can come back with a lot more humble way to any situation. And then, as a last step in the cycle, how we choose to act and behave all of the time is going to impact and determine the outcome of the experience, whether it's the desired or the non-desired outcome. So we are going through this cycle thousands of times every single day without really noticing it, because we are driven out of that subconscious programming and behavior. So it also shows us that we are truly fully responsible of the outcomes that we experience in life, again, whether they are desired or not desired. And each and every one of us is going to also respond differently, even if we are experiencing the same event. The perception of the same event will be very different based on our own unique life experiences, memories, and so on and so forth. So the question is, are you aware of why are you responding the way you do? And here it comes my definition to the emotion, which is also important to understand. Emotion is nothing else than energy in motion. Ever heard this definition of that? Emotions are truly messengers. They are there to show us whether we are on the right path in alignment with our soul and body, or whether we are completely off track and need to divert ourselves back to something. So really, if we don't stop and question our emotions and understand the quality of our thoughts, then we are going to have very little influence on our behaviors. So that can have a tremendous ripple effect as such. Now, let me just come back here quickly on the screen so that you can see me all. While I'm going to explain now the four core components that emotional intelligence is typically broken down into. So the first one is, and that is at the core of everything, is self-awareness. And self-awareness really is the ability to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and also to recognize your emotions that affect you and your environment, your team's performance as well, most importantly. Then the second core competence is self-management, which is the ability to manage those emotions, your emotions, and particularly from looking at it from the leadership perspective, when it comes to stressful situations, then how to maintain a positive outlook as well, despite any kind of setbacks that may show up along the way. The third core competence is the social awareness, which is really your ability to recognize others' emotions and also the dynamics that play within the team or organization that you are responsible for. Here is an interesting study that I wanted to share with you because there is a research has been done by a global leadership development firm called DDI, and what they found is that empathy ranks as the number one leadership skill, um, because what they found is that leaders who master that empathy perform more than 40% higher in coaching, engaging others, and even in decision making. So that's huge, 40% higher just by mastering the skill of empathy. Now, the fourth core competence is relationship management. What it really refers to is your ability to influence, coach, and mentor others, and also to resolve conflict effectively, which, as you obviously live every single day as a leader, are incredibly important skills in your role. And if you want to keep your team happy, you will also need to have those tough conversations going on. And that has been another recent survey which has found something really interesting as well. That was done by the Society of Human Resource Management. And it found that 72% of employees ranked respectful treatment of all employees at all levels as the top factor in job satisfaction. People really just want to be heard, seen, and understood. That's it. And you know what? That doesn't even cost anything. It's not about the money. It's not about the raise. It's not about the job promotion. It's about being valued, being seen and heard and appreciated. That all is it takes, or at least this part goes a very, very long way to keep your people happy and highly performing as well. So how comes that emotional intelligence is so critically important in leadership? Well, fact is that IQ is the one that will get you the job. IQ is the one that will bring you into that executive role. But guess what? EQ, the emotional intelligence, is the one that will help you thrive and stay in that role for as long as you really wish to. So, how does an emotionally intelligent leader really look like, or how do they behave? So, first of all, they have this ability to identify and understand their own emotions, and especially during stressful situations, so that they learn to catch themselves and then um, take corrective measures and manage those emotions so that they will avoid taking impulsive decisions that they may regret the next day or even still the same day. So they can much better manage their response and just maintain that level headed approach. Now, on the other side, lacking critical emotional skills can really lead to a lot of damaging things. And you may recognize one or the other in your surrounding, or maybe even in your organization. So, as such, for example, workplace conflict is a big one. Misunderstandings due to just inability to recognize emotions and respect those within yourself and others around you as well. This is what will really generate and create a lot of toxicity. You cannot imagine how many people I speak to, and especially serving senior leaders, executives, where this desire just comes through that if there would just be no toxicity, this politics should also just go away. How to break through that? Emotional intelligence is a big answer to this question. Now, consider then your relationships you have with your coworkers and reflect on yourself. How are your conversations going with each other? Are they maybe strained? Do you repeatedly blame others when, let's say, projects just don't go as planned or there are delays? Are you prone to outbursts? These are some questions to reflect on and consider, because these can be all signs of lack of emotional intelligence. And here is the good news. This is a skill that definitely can be learned and developed. And it's a very, very important one. The more emotionally intelligent we become, we will feel a lot happier and a lot more fulfilled automatically, because who enjoys being upset, being angry, being frustrated, being overwhelmed, and whatnot? Like, I don't know about you, but I really had a hard time with all these emotions. And the moment I got deeply involved into emotional intelligence, because I'm also a certified emotional intelligence coach, and I'm obviously using my own tools also on myself, and the same that I'm giving to my clients too, it made a world of difference in my life. Because the moment I learned to become aware of those emotions, like, I have not been taught in school and haven't met anyone yet who would have been, how to recognize my emotions. And during my upbringing in my family, that was also not a thing to talk about. We didn't talk about emotions as such. The highest level of expression of emotion was I feel good or I feel bad. But good or bad are neither one of them is an emotion to begin with. So it's a big piece of cake. And it requires conscious attention, it requires effort, practice, some guidance and tools to have, so that you can get into that practice of how to recognize the emotions and then what to do about it. Because as I referred to it in the beginning, we do have the choice, but do we know how to make that choice? So this is really the main message behind, to just bring you awareness around how important emotions and emotional intelligence is, even if there is not enough thought about it, especially in a corporate dynamic. But I'm glad to observe that it's more and more required, and organizations are opening up more and more to that subject. So if you, as a leader, either on the personal side, would love to explore where are you on the emotional intelligence scale, then please reach out to me, because I have the worldwide, mostly recognized and mostly research-based emotional intelligence assessment available for you, which can also give you the answers in relation to other leaders, so that you really see yourself on the scale, broken down into probably even too much of depth. Like, it's an extremely detailed assessment, which gives you a tremendous knowledge on what to pay more attention to, where to improve. And of course, it comes also with guidance and tools that you can start implementing immediately and improving on those skills. So if you would like to look into that, then please reach out to me, send me a DM, and I will be arranging a call with you to set you up for that emotional intelligence assessment. And similarly, if this is something that you would like to bring into your organization, either in form of workshop, consultancy, or also assessment throughout a group or a team, that's also something I provide and work with several organizations. Again, please feel free to reach out, and I will be more than happy to guide you through that. Tomorrow, I will build upon this emotional intelligence topic, which is incredibly important, yet again, in terms of your health, your well being, your organizational outcome and results as well, because it directly impacts the productivity and everything else within a team. So, I will spend some more time on that tomorrow. Come back here with me. You can also watch the recording. So I will dive a little deeper into the specific leadership traits, be it communication, decision making, performance reviews, and a couple of more aspects with examples how emotional intelligence can serve you incredibly well. Looking forward seeing you back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and yeah, looking forward to that. Bye for now.